All right.
I slipped and fell and broke my skull. I think I lost all my money from my cruise that I had booked. Do you get travel insurance or do you not get travel insurance? That's the question tonight. Let's go.
Well, I'm just going to say I'm still going on that because I'm going to go to Rio. I got my shirt on and everything. So we're going to talk about travel insurance today. So welcome everyone. This is Thirsty Thursday with Hubbards Journey, and our topic tonight is travel insurance, right?
That's right.
Excellent. All right. Well, we don't really.
Before you get into it, did you set this up so we could see all the chats?
Yes, I think so.
Because it says here.
Yes, we are all set up on the chat. So welcome. If you joined and you'd
great.
like to say hello, please go ahead and do so. I was just going to say that while tonight's topic is all about travel insurance, we are not experts on this topic. However, we have cruised quite a bit, and we're just going to share some of our personal experiences with some kind of disappointing situations.
We've seen a lot of situations.
And then we've seen some really nasty situations at sea. So while we don't think travel insurance is right for everyone, it's important to understand who it might be right for.
That's right.
And what you're basically covered for.
Exactly.
All
because
right.
it may not be right for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that.
So why don't we get into the poll?
All right. So we put a poll up. Let me show this on here. We put a poll up on our not Instagram. It was on YouTube and Facebook. And basically the question was travel insurance, yay or nah? Your approach probably says something about your travel style. Which travel style are you? And this was very interesting. So let's see what that is. And if you didn't get a chance to do the poll online and you'd like to drop it in our chat, please go so whenever you'd like. So let's see. So we had the YOLO traveler, no plan, no worries until was 18%. The spreadsheet ninja came in at 59%, planned, packed, and insured times 3. Yep. And then the impulse explorer. So it was booked by the banana shirt guy. So very interesting.
Well, know what that tells me? We have a lot of people that really focus on their journey and pay a lot of attention to the insurance. What are you doing? You keep pulling me. I might need to do something here. I got to go this way. Okay. She keeps pulling me. I'm like, why are you pulling me? And now I'm looking at the camera. I'm like, oh, I see why you're doing it. But when this poll, I find it interesting that majority of the people purchased insurance.
Yes, they did. And most people, well, I don't know if they necessarily purchase it, but they're definitely thinking about it, let's be honest, or they're preparing themselves for it, right?
Yeah.
Because there's definitely different ways to prepare yourself.
Where do you think you fall in this poll?
Well, I know where I fall because I actually made it on that cruise.
She made it on the cruise.
Exactly. I don't know if our chat's working. So if anyone's here and wants to drop something in the chat, I would love to see if that comes through. And because it doesn't seem to be working on my end, I'm not sure. I'm going to pull it up on this other computer over here. So let's, yes, Facebook and Instagram had a different kind of a thought process when it came to our poll. But basically, everybody was in that same planning stage.
Yeah. Well, are you going to put up the see if you can get the comments over there if there's any? Can anybody make a chat or a comment? We just want to see if the comments are working. That would be very helpful. Wait until we get to the end of this video. I've got the Thirsty Thursday surprise of the week. Well, Andrea's got hers. I've got mine. She's putting it up. I don't see any comments here. I've got mine. I don't see any comments here.
All right.
This is the stuff that infuriates us.
Oh, I'm seeing comments over here.
She's seeing
So
comments
I am
over
seeing
here, but
comments
no
over here.
comments
Oh
over
my,
here.
oops. We're getting everything going on right now. Jeez. All right. So they are chatting. So we, on this side over here, we got Diz RN on, and then Carnival Cruise Addicts. Alex is there. Happy Thursday.
Alex is in the house. He said he was going to make it. He says, hey, I got to make it. I said, you don't have to.
All right. So I'm glad to see. Now, curious, those of you that are in the chat right now, did any of you not comment on your poll here that you'd like to add in an answer to? So if you have, please go ahead and do so. I'm just curious to see what's going on there. But this was our poll, and did it surprise you?
It did, because there was a time that I didn't purchase travel insurance.
Yes.
And when I saw that, because I can't believe the majority of the people travel all around the world, but I understand why people get travel insurance. Look at me. I lost my money on my cruise, potentially.
Exactly. All right, let me just get off this screen here. So let's just get it back there. So yes, who should get travel insurance, or who should at least consider it? And I think that is a good point. We didn't really consider it until we started doing a lot more international travel, but there are definitely times in the Caribbean where we've seen some kind of mishaps, right?
We have.
So you never know when that can happen.
Never.
Right? And I think that a lot of times the things you're thinking about might be, let's put this up, what are your chances of severe weather, missing a baggage, or travel delays?
You know what? That doesn't even come up on my radar. Severe weather or missing the bag. It doesn't come up on my radar.
And why doesn't it come up on your radar?
Because I'm more focused on different things. I mean, I assume that everything is all set for the weather. I assume that the bags are going to be there. Keyword there, assume, right?
Well, the thing is, travel insurance sometimes covers you before your cruise or even after your cruise, especially if you're dealing with flights. And while we don't always fly to our destination, it did happen to us once when we went to...
My head hurts. My head hurts.
When we went to Texas. In Galveston,
geez.
Texas, if any of you have ever cruised out of there, it is known to be a foggy destination or departure spot. And luckily we had some friends with us who told us not to worry about it because the fog, and we were like, oh, what do you mean?
We were like,
yeah, fog.
And he kept telling us, hey, you know, you may not be able to get to the airport because we're known for fogginess coming out of Galveston, depending on the time of year. Going into Galveston, it's like, I'm like, what? Is this a thing?
Yes. So you want to be mindful. So if you're going to book a flight, you want to make sure you're actually looking at the time in which you are going to fly. I'm going to check the chat over here. Oh, Carnival Cruise Addicts, you're spreadsheet ninjas. That doesn't surprise me.
That doesn't surprise me. I can picture Liz doing all the spreadsheet work, and Chris is over there. Yeah, good job. I don't know if did I get that right, Liz?
So it says Alex Watson. It says, hi, Michael. This Alex is female, my friend. That's a different Alex.
Oh.
All right. Well, good to have you in the chat with us. Thank you for joining us. So that's one reason why you might want to consider doing that. I think if you're going to be traveling, for sure, because you want to think of your weather, your bags. Is it important to you if your bags show up on time, or are you traveling like Michael and you just bring your carry-on?
I do, but yeah. But it's funny they bring that up. I mean, it does play a part in travel.
Yes.
And it's not on my radar.
So why don't you get travel insurance?
Well, I used to not get it. Now I do, but I look at the cost. I don't look like, oh, the weather. Okay. How much is the flight cost? How much is the cruise cost? What else? What's my cost? And what's my risk? Is the way I look at it.
Yes. So that's number 2. How willing are you to take risks with your plans before and during your cruise?
That would not make me a ninja. A ninja is like, I'm going to plan for everything. I'm thinking.
Oh, no, guys, same Alex. Oh, jeez. Sorry, Alex, we're all over the place. I don't know what's going on over here. Maybe it's my reading skills.
Alex, I'm not reading the damn notes because they're not in the chats. They're on her side. I wish I was. I'd be engaging with you, but I can't see anything. I got a throbbing head. I got a laceration.
Yeah, exactly. So cost, you're right. So people sometimes think about the cost, but I also think about the cost because I'm a planner. I think about what happens in a backup situation or what it could potentially cost me. So this is my number 3. Anticipate how much it will cost to pay for a backup plan. So, you know, this is simple. This could be as simple as you need to have, it's a trip interruption. You have to fly home and you have to get back for one reason or another. You're going to pay for those costs, whereas you might not if you had travel insurance.
You're right about that, but it's not on my radar.
Yeah.
It was at one time in my travels, it was not on my radar.
I agree. Yes, and that's true. And then finally, I have here is, do you have questionable health or could a loved one become ill? And this one's tough to anticipate, but some of you might have family members or you yourself have some pre-existing health conditions that you just have to be mindful of, that you want to take that little bit of a
travel insurance may be important.
Exactly.
Depending on, you know, your health or someone in your family's health. Maybe you're traveling and in their situation is not that great, unfortunately. And
I'm just reading some of the chats over here. So Kelly DizRN says she plans her flight with weather in mind. I agree. Kelly is a friend of ours in Florida, and we know those thunderstorms pop up on a whim at any time and interrupt those travel arrangements for sure. And Carnival Cruise Addict says we have questionable judgment. Yeah, that's not working on this end. I'm not sure why. So we can't pop those up on the screen.
This is 2 weeks in a row we use this StreamYard, and we're
having a difficulty.
It could be us. I mean, look at us.
Yeah, it's not coming up for us. Anyways,
move on.
Moving on. All right. So you have to think about your travel delays and whether or not they're going to be any there. And there we go. There's a little bit of a travel delay that we had that didn't impact our travels, but it was something to think about.
It had a potential.
Exactly. All right. So let's move on, and we'll talk about some real stories, real drama. All right. But first, let's talk about types of travel insurance and what you can get. So right now we talked about a credit card that we have.
But let me back that up before you talk about the credit card, because the credit card is one option that you may not be aware of on your credit card. Most credit cards out there have a travel insurance already a part of your credit card. So you want to check out your credit card and what does it offer for benefits. We actually do use a credit card, the Sapphire, Chase Sapphire, and it's a travel credit card, and we feel good about it.
Exactly. So this is it here. Sorry about that. This is Chase Sapphire Reserve, and it's just one of the credit cards. It's a travel credit card. We got this when we did a lot of traveling, and we pretty much use it for lots of different things beyond travel insurance, but we also have some travel perks. So if you're considering looking at a travel credit card, this is one that we highly recommend.
When we started traveling the world, this is something that we looked at because it gives us lounges in the airports, it gives us travel insurance, it gives us a lot of benefits.
Yes, exactly. And so Alex said that he bought the travel insurance for his Key West trip coming up. So did you buy it through the cruise ship? Because that's definitely the easiest way. That's one of the ways that we were going to mention. When you do a booking, sometimes it's easy enough to book it that way. The other thing that we do, and it's because we are traveling more than one trip a year, is we do a yearly travel insurance.
We travel quite a bit.
Yeah. So that is through Allianz Travel. And this is something that you can sign up for. and it gives you a full year of travel insurance.
You can do single trip, you can do multiple trips, you can do just a rent a car. We do multiple trips, and when we do it, it's like we have an umbrella coverage using this. And the reason why I explored this is because for the whole year, it only costs for a family plan $495. And if you do individual cruise insurance, and let's say you're a family, if you're the parent, it only covers one parent, or covers only one person. You have to actually get the insurance for everybody that you're traveling with. And travel insurance is based on a percentage of the cost. So let's say your cruise is $10,000. Then you're paying $1,000 in travel insurance per person.
Roughly, right?
Yeah, roughly.
Roughly.
Roughly. It goes between 4 to 10%.
Yes. So I think Diz RN said she uses Allianz as well. Carnival Cruise Addicts, I'm not sure if you guys use it, but I know you guys travel quite a bit as well. But that's definitely something that we found and have done for a few years now, and find it very helpful.
But as we move on in this live video, we're going to talk a little bit about that insurance and the credit card insurance where we actually used it.
Well, that's a good point, because let's talk about excursions and port cancellations.
Before we do, can we talk about the ship insurance?
Yeah, I thought we did, but go ahead.
We just kind of cursoried over it. So ship insurance, every time you book every time you book a cruise, one of the questions they'll ask you, do you want travel insurance? And when you at the end of the day, they'll tell you how much it's going to cost, and that cost is based on the cost of the cruise. So, I mean, is it worthwhile? It could be, but it's important that you realize with ship insurance, any claim that you have, you're not calling Carnival. You're calling their third-party supplier to deal with any issues. And number two, you need to make sure that you have proof of any type of event that took place that disrupted your travel. So good example, you're on a cruise ship and you didn't make a port. And we're going to get into that in our next slide. As a matter of fact, I'm going to save it so we get into the next slide.
I think that Carnival Cruise Addicts are trying to help me out, and it's not. I don't know what it's done.
The Carnival Cruise Addicts trying to help us out. I just hit this thing. I don't know what I'm doing. Can you fix this? I went to the next slide.
Well, this is basically, we're going to talk about cruise ships canceling their excursions as well as ports. So this is basically, this happens on occasion, and when you have your excursions booked through the ship, it'll get replied right away. So that's wonderful. So if you actually booking ships, your excursion directly. If not, this is a real life example of when we booked an excursion.
We typically do not book through the cruise ship for our excursions.
We tell everyone, let me just take this off the screen here. We always say, if you're going to go without the cruise ship, always book with someone that says they will refund 100% if your ship doesn't dock, and if possible, 100% guaranteed return to ship policy. And what did we do? When we were in,
wait a minute. It
wasn't. When we were in Iceland.
We were in Iceland. We were in, what was the first port we were in? It was a beautiful day. Everything was fantastic. And we were only sailing, what? Maybe 100 miles away, not even 100 miles away. And we said, book it.
So we were going to go to Reykjavik, Iceland, and I was dying to go to the Blue Lagoon. Yes, the Blue Lagoon is a geothermal spa.
Volcanic waters.
It's amazing. I was so excited. I couldn't imagine. And then we were like all ready to go. We had an issue. They took our booking the day before we were going to be there.
Because we didn't think we were going to have any issues. So we kind of went against what we tell everybody. Only because, again, we balanced risk and we looked at the risk. We said, oh, weather looks good. Book it. Let's book it. Let's go do that. Well, guess what? The ship was getting closer and it was delayed. He says, oh, the captain came over the intercom. Hey, we're going to delay it a little bit because of weather. And then we called up Blue Lagoon. And by the way, you can't just get off the ship and go to Blue Lagoon. You have to have a transportation company, separate company. We called them up and said, hey, listen, we're going to be delayed a little bit. Is there any way we can reschedule this? There we go.
Now I see what's going on.
What the hell? Are you kidding me?
Keep going.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
I don't know.
Well, okay.
All right, let's keep going.
Just put the date in there.
It won't let me do anything. I think I figured out what was going on here.
Yeah, we forgot to put it.
It's public. Not public. It's still private.
Yeah, whatever. Go back in there.
I don't know why.
Go back in there and try to change it.
I'm trying. You go over here. I'm going to look on here.
All right, she's looking there. I'm looking over here. And we want to get this thing so it's going to go. And let me see here. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, guys. I really am. But we want this thing to be right. And quite honestly, it's not right. And I don't know if it's going to be right.
It's okay. We got some people in here. Let's just say I can look at the chat over here. Let's just get out of here. What did you do?
You got to let go.
Nope.
All right. So I'm so sorry again. And we got to, this is the kind of stuff when we do live stuff that irritates me. But hey, let's move on.
I know.
So we called them up. We said, hey, we're going to be a little late. They said, hey, no problem, blah, blah, blah. Then an hour later, the captain gets on. We are not going to Reykjavik, Iceland. The weather is just horrible. We're not going to do it. And we called them up and said, hey. Well, we texted them. It was all text message. And Blue Lagoon said, hey, I'm sorry. We're not giving you money back. You're going to have to go exercise your travel insurance. I'm like, what? We just did this like hours ago, like 16 hours ago. Nope. I said, but all the cruise ship passengers, they're being refunded. Yeah, but they have travel insurance through the cruise ship.
That's right. So we exercised. We had two options. We had the yearly Allianz plan we could have done, or because we booked it on our Chase Sapphire Reserve card, we had that option.
So we said, do we use the umbrella insurance package we got, or do we use the credit card? We used the credit card.
We did.
And using that credit card insurance, I was like, hey, let's just see what happens.
It was a learning experience.
And you need to make sure, the first thing that we had to get, and we knew this ahead of time, is some sort of proof from the Carnival Cruise. It was a Carnival Cruise at the time, I think. And we had to show proof from them, their letterhead, saying that they didn't make the port, they aborted the port due to weather. So that's the proof we had to give. Then we had to give proof that they weren't going to accept, they weren't going to give us a refund. And that process,
the Blue Lagoon, yes,
and the transportation company, that process took about 3 months of going back and forth with the travel insurance company on the credit card. But by the time it was done and we gave them everything that they were looking for, bang, we got our money back.
We did. It took a little bit of time, but it worked. And now I just want to say that's the same thing that happens a little bit with if you do excursions through the cruise ship. I think they refund them as onboard credit. If you did it on a credit card, I don't know if it goes back onto your credit card. Maybe somebody here probably knows that.
Yeah, I'm curious. If you know, say you booked an excursion on the ship, do they refund you 100% or do they give you a cruise credit? Leave it in the comments. We'd like to know.
Yeah, that's true.
My guess on it is they give you the money back.
Yeah.
But
let's talk about like if there's some major situation outside of excursions and you have the travel insurance. If you didn't make your flight, you'll get the reimbursement. You have to submit that form, so you get reimbursed, right? So it's still sometimes a little bit of time, even when you have ship in insurance. So it's good. So I guess the chat is working over there. They saw everything that we did over here, Michael. So no worries.
I'm so angry, but I'm injured. So it explains why I'm angry.
And Carnival Cruise said onboard credit. Thank you.
Onboard credit.
We thought that was the case, but it's been a while since we did.
That's kind of like a raw deal, I would think.
Maybe. Unless you're, I would suspect, I could be wrong here, but they probably use it in the casino.
Yeah, but not a lot of people.
Right? You would probably use it if you got onboard credit on your account. You probably
would, but
head right over to the casino.
I'm thinking most people wouldn't, but
yeah, exactly. All right, so onboard credit equals casino time. Yes, exactly.
There you go.
It is. It sometimes happens. All right. Well, thank you so much for bearing with us on the chat situation. It's great to see some conversations happening between those that are on there together, which is awesome. And we all use it in the casino. I agree.
Yeah,
that's like Michael. Maybe not so much me. I do a little bit, but more and more these days.
Let's move on to membership.
All right, let's talk about membership. So those of you who are here, we just started our new membership on YouTube. If you are interested in doing that, and
you're looking to support our channel, doing a membership would be a great support, or even doing a super thanks or a super chat will help our channel grow.
Yes.
And we appreciate anything that anyone's willing to do. And we're done with the membership. Let's move on.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Our membership will have some downloadables and some behind the scenes stuff, and we're loading up stuff now. So
we have membership only videos that the general public do not see.
All right. Let's move on.
Let's go on to examples
we've talked about
medical.
Flight delays. We've talked about missing your cruises, reimbursements for ship excursions or excursions out on your own and how you have to go about that. Let's talk about medical situation. So that's another big reason to get travel insurance. And I would say that's probably one of the main reasons we decided to get our travel insurance for the yearly plan, because as we can see, Michael is a mishap waiting to happen. Well, maybe I am. Yeah. Let me show you this.
Oh yeah, check this out.
Oh my God, are you okay?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Look at her glasses. We were in Portugal, and I was just videoing under the hum-de-dum.
Oh my God, are you okay?
She takes a dump literally off the sidewalk, and I was like, "Oh my God, we got to go to the hospital. This is like extremely dangerous."
Yeah.
And she was all frazzled, dizzy, the whole deal. But her phone, she cracked her phone.
I did. It was one of those. This was in the Azores, and so a lot of times it's in some of these European places where it wasn't a real curb or a grate over the sewer draining system. It was just a ramp down, and I didn't see it, and I literally.
But it wasn't a ramp. It was a
cut. It angled down.
Yeah.
And I went straight down, and I landed on my chest.
She scared the hell out of me.
Oh, I was bruised. It was awful.
Yeah, we were in Hawaii. You tumbled downstairs in Hawaii.
I was just gonna say it wasn't my only fall. I've had a few falls here and there. Some of them. That one just happened to be one we got on film.
The other one I didn't get on film.
Yes, I bruised myself here and there. It's not pleasant. It's not pretty to see. So I'm glad it wasn't on film.
Yeah, but unfortunately, we've run into some other stuff that was probably not as funny as what Andrea went through. We've experienced a number of medical evacuations, and these could be very expensive if you're on a ship. This one here was off the Bering Sea between Russia and Alaska. That's the U.S. Coast Guard coming in, picking up a family. The whole family left. They picked up one and picked up another, and
yeah, it was amazing to see. We got lucky. You're not supposed to be out on these decks and everything else. We happened to be out walking around when this happened. It was a quick little thing that happened, and so we're farther back, so we zoomed in obviously to be able to see this. But it was one of those situations that you don't want to ever see anyone have to get into.
Yeah.
It wasn't fun. But then there's also things like, you know, some medical situation that happens before you have to go, and, you know, an unexpected maybe surgery or something like that comes up.
All right, let's move on from this. I don't like me in a gurney.
All right. Well, then let's get over here. So this is another one. So this is sometimes happens, you need on-board medical situations. And this is a friend of ours who actually was on a ship, and she fell and she broke her wrist.
On the ship.
On the ship. And we've seen other people fall actually off the ship as well, and have had to be taken away. This one was another situation that we were in Japan. This was in Hiroshima.
This was so sad. So sad. The individual we were at the supermarket. We usually go to the supermarket because the beer's cheaper there. And we were coming out, and this guy missed the stair, because you're going to take stairs down, like 3 stairs. He missed the stairs and cracked his head on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Blood was going everywhere. Kind of looked like me right now.
Yeah, but he ended up being okay, but he had to leave the ship. This was a long journey, so he was hoping to rejoin the journey. But they actually brought off a few individuals. I'm not sure if this is the same individual, if this is another one. But
we had multiple people at different ports coming off the ship, going into an ambulance.
Yeah, yeah. You never know. So let's get back to this one over here, and let's talk about what happened to our friend here when she had her fall on the ship and she had to go to medical. So they actually took care of basically almost all of her necessary medical expenses.
No,
in terms of no. I'm sorry, not expenses.
They didn't take care of the expenses.
What she needed.
What they did was,
That's what I was
if you
going
get
for.
hurt,
Go ahead.
If you get hurt on a cruise ship, the medical department on the cruise ship, by the way, is amazing. They have an emergency room. They have all kinds of stuff there, but they limit themselves in relative to exposure, that they don't want to get into stuff. So if they have a chance to ship you off the ship, they're going to do it.
Right.
In this particular case, our friend, this is what they charged her for a broken wrist.
Yeah.
But
there's x-rays.
But those aren't bad charges when you look at the big picture.
No.
But the downside of this is when you get hurt on a ship, they automatically take those charges and they charge you. You have to pay that before you get off the ship.
That's right. So her account was charged. She had to pay for all of that. I think that she was able to get reimbursed for some of her
through her medical insurance when she got home.
Yes. But you just never know.
But let's talk about, let's go through it again. So relative to, how do you put this up here?
Which one?
Both of us. There we go. There we go. That's what I was looking for. I know I'm a hot mess, ain't I? Ay. So we went through all the different types of travel insurance. You can get travel insurance through your cruise line. You can purchase your own travel insurance that blankets you for an entire year, which I think is probably the best way to go, because I'm not cheap, but I'm frugal. You know, it takes a lot of hard work to earn $1, and I just don't like giving it away that easy. You know, don't shake your head. You know what I'm talking about. So we find that blanket insurance policy probably the best way to go. The next best way to go is look at your credit card. Most credit cards offer travel insurance on them.
Some kind.
Take a look at the benefits. Take a look at what they offer you, because that may help you out a little bit in your decision-making process. So we went through cruise ship travel, credit card travel, and buying an outside company travel. Now, when you buy cruise ship travel insurance, it's only for the one individual that purchased it. Now, if everybody in the cabin wants to purchase it, they can. More than likely, if you're traveling as a family or together, everyone's going to purchase it. And again, that cost is roughly a percentage of the cost of the cruise. So if the cruise is 10 grand, you're paying between 4 to 10% of that 10 grand.
So lots to think about, right? Lots to think about, and lots to kind of decide on what's right for you.
So I'm going to ask you a question. Are you a proponent of travel insurance?
I like having the security of knowing that if something goes wrong, I'm covered.
I'm kind of in the same boat. When we used to travel just the Caribbean, I don't think travel insurance was on our radar.
No,
it wasn't really on our radar
really.
because we looked at, oh, we weren't that far from home. I mean, it just wasn't on radar. Now we're traveling abroad. We're traveling to Africa, Australia. I mean, travel insurance at that point became important to us.
I agree.
So we're not telling you not to get it. We're not telling you to get it. We're just showing you our experience with travel insurance.
Yes. And maybe some ways to either work around it or things to look into. But
to me, it all comes down to risk and value. How much risk are you willing to take on, and how much money are you willing to spend?
All right. So we're going to get to this point. We're going to show you, we're going to talk about.
This is the end where I talk about
our Thirsty Thursday item of the day. And I'm going to say Michael's having his, which is the shipwreck cocktail.
The shipwreck cocktail.
And it says, why didn't I get the travel insurance? So this is Michael's drink. What do you have, Michael?
I have 2 ounces of bourbon, 2 ounces of rum. I have some lime juice. I have simple syrup. I don't have the mint leaves. And I will tell you, the mint leaves, this drink is amazing and it will wreck you. However, the mint leaves, I think, really make a difference. I don't have them in this particular one because I didn't have them, but I will tomorrow.
All right. Well, I have a tea bag because it's not always about the cocktails. Sometimes you need a calming drink to relax you and know that everything is taken care of and you're not going to miss the ship.
You don't think this relaxes you?
No. So I'm just going to show you. Mine are the Bigelow teas. I prefer a mint tea or a chamomile tea. Both of these I usually get on the ship in one form or another. And I sometimes even bring them on with me because you can always get some hot water for sure.
Always.
So that's my drink in my nice little H cup.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Did anybody else post any type of?
We got the Carnival Cruise Addicts, I think, joined our Journey crew. Thank you. We have to figure out, maybe you can help us with this. I think we can offer a few memberships.
Well, she's been a part of the Hubbards Journey crew.
And what kind of bourbon are you drinking?
No, she just joined it. She just joined a membership. Oh! We got to come up with a video that comes out
and we got to figure out how to use it.
The Carnival Cruise Addicts, if you want to know anything about Carnival, you got to look at their page.
Yeah.
You got to look at their page. Oh, Liz and the Carnival Cruise Addicts, I can't believe you did a membership. Oh, man. I got to freaking drink to that. Oh, cheers. Thank you. Thank you for the support. It means everything to us. It really, really does.
All right. And I said New England Pats fan wants to know what kind of bourbon you're drinking.
It is a Buffalo Trace.
His go-to.
Yeah, Buffalo Trace.
What is the other one that you like too besides Buffalo Trace?
Woodford.
Oh, Woodford.
I like Woodford, Buffalo Trace. The one I made before this was Maker's Mark. I used Maker's Mark because I was like, okay, what do I want to move on the shelf? Do I want to move the Buffalo Trace? Do I want to move the Woodford or the Maker's Mark? I think my next one is going to be Maker's Mark. I think I want to move the Maker's Mark.
Such decisions. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. If you have any other questions, please feel free to leave them down in the chat. We will always answer any questions. So if you're catching this on the replay, if you have any other questions, leave them down. And again, we're not experts, but we do know a few things.
I would consider myself an almost expert. Not quite an expert.
On getting hurt?
Almost expert. And this is where I say, ciao for now.
We'll see you soon.
All right, you got to hit the button.
Don't know your technical difficulties over here.
I'm telling you.
Bye-bye.
Ciao for now.